Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. I am one of two commentators for tonight. Unfortunately, Tim cannot make it tonight due to personal reasons, but I am very, very honoured and absolutely delighted to have one of the greatest commentators back in the day and bringing back all that stuff into tonight's race for the one time only. Craig, how you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm very well, excited to be here to cover the first race of Season 11 on the Performance League.
Yes, it's I can't believe it's 11 seasons. It's just absolutely immense stuff with everything going on from, I think it was about 10 drivers to now all those seasons ahead there. It's just absolutely amazing stuff there, Craig. So, and I know you've had some great racing at the France track, because you was mentioning to me just before we started that this is your first ever completion in the F3 League last night. Is that right?
Yeah, it was. All the practices leading up to last night's Formula 3 League always ended either in spinning or thermal damage. So last night was the first time that I actually completed every single lap of the French Grand Prix.
It's unbelievable stuff, and it out of 99 times out of 100, the one time you do it and you do it perfectly there as well, and it's absolutely amazing stuff there as well. And for the first time in the Performance League, we will have a bit of a format, shall we say. So for every odd race, we will have the full qualifying. That you have heard me correctly, guys. We will have the full qualifying scenario. So Q1, Q2, Q3. And through that, and then we'll do the 50% race. Then next week, for each even numbered races, we will have the reversed grid of the results from race from the original full qualifying scenario from that race as well. So from that scenario there, Craig, what was your best memory of the Performance League back in your day?
I think that it just brings so many different drivers of various pace and experience all on the track at the same time, and it certainly seems like we've got that tonight. We've got a range of drivers up and down all of the PS4 formulas, ranging from Formula 1 to 4. So I think it's the unpredictability due to the realistic performance that just makes this league something different. And for the first time in Season 11, we're actually going to be using full qualifying. So exciting. We don't know how the drivers are going to play out the strategies, and introducing the reverse grid order of the previous races' results should make for great overtaking in every even round.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for it as well. Obviously, the cars they've allocated will be only allocated each 2 weeks, so once every 2 weeks. So what they got the car. So we're watching Night Shades at the moment here, coming up to the near to start his proper qualifying lap here. But he's in the Racing Point car, so he will have the Racing Point car for next week's race, and that will be absolutely immense stuff there as well. Good evening to everyone that's joining the session. We will look at the comments later on during this race, during this qualifying as well. But with this, Craig, and it looks like it's a little bit dark outside at the French Grand Prix here, shall we say?
Yeah, a little bit overcast, so track temperatures, ambient temperatures will be a little bit cooler. I'll be surprised to see any drivers opting for the hards, maybe struggling to get a little bit of temperature in there. So we do see that most of the drivers on the outlap have opted for the soft tyres. So really looking to switch that tyre on as we see Nightshades just coming through the end of Sector 1. He's actually invalidated it already, Malc.
Yes, he has. I just watched it there. He's went just too much inside of the corner there, so unfortunately you'll have to try and do that lapping as quickly as possible there as well. So let's have a quick look at Moreno now to see what he's doing. He's on the Ferrari car at the moment, so he should do some stuff around the French Grand Prix here, shall we say, with this track. But also, Craig, with the full qualifying scenario, we've got yellow flags on Sector 3. That's one of the Mercedes, I believe, slowing down. But obviously, with the full qualifying, for at the moment, 16th and 17th, as of tonight, will be the only ones that will be the casualties. So pressure on you, considering you haven't watched for a long time there, and looking at the drivers that you've seen experience-wise, what do you think is going to happen here from your point of view? Of who do you think will finish in the bottom two tonight? In
I think
Q1,
that,
sorry.
yeah, it will be hard to tell. Certainly, it's going to come down to those that can keep it clean and also attacking the apexes as they should. So yeah, it's going to be really vital to get out of Q1, and I think most drivers will probably leave it later on in the session. Track's a little bit green as we start the start of the qualifying session, so I think we'll see a lot of drivers that are struggling in the bottom half, possibly at risk of going out in qualifying one, pushing right at the end as the track's rubbered in the most that there will be at the end of qualifying one to hopefully go through. But looking at drivers in the such as Cryptox Plus and McLaren, cars that are possibly down in that straight line speed, maybe the drivers most at risk.
Oh, okay. We'll have to wait and see if that's predicted that could be happening there. But obviously, because of the full qualifying, we have to try and find out the cut-off point. Now, from what I saw from the qualifying, obviously from myself in the F4, 128 was in the qualifying as the pole time, shall we say. But obviously this is this is the Performance League, so everyone's got the different performances of the car. So obviously the Merc's the faster car compared to the Williams car. That's really the slower car, shall we say. But looking at it from this point of view here, from looking at the times coming in here, Craig, I reckon 31s possibly is the cut-off point, I reckon.
Yeah, looking at those times coming in, both Mercedes drivers Sab and O'Stevens setting a 1:31.3 and a 1:31.6. Cryptox goes 1:31.7. So I think to be safe and get out of qualifying one, you're probably looking under 31.5. But as we've said, Malc, the track is still fairly green. We've got 12 minutes left in the session, and I'm sure those times will start tumbling down as the track gets rubbered in, possibly the track temperature increases, and the drivers get quite familiar with the circuit again.
Absolutely. Obviously, this is the Performance League live exclusive here on the YouTube channel, for the Invictus Racing League channel as well, with myself, Malc, and for the one time only Craig joining me on the commentators box for this first race of the Performance League tonight here, and just watching Barca doing his lap in here, and he's done a 29.9 on the Renault there. But who are you watching so far, Craig?
Just riding on board with Sab, just purely for the fact that he's actually opted for the medium tyre, so that may give us an indication of his strategy going into Q2 and 3 if he manages to get that high, possibly saving the soft tyre for later on. But we see Nightshades on the racing point just coming up to the end of his out lap. He obviously validated his first run, so he's had to use another set of the soft tyre, and that may hurt his strategy going into the race.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to damage limitations there as well from Nightshades. But hopefully he'll try and get back to, try and get out of get into Q2 as quickly as possible here as well. But I tell you what,
so he's just sorry to interrupt you there, Malc. He's just approaching turn one. It's vital to get the car turned into 1 and 2, getting the exit perfect out of turn 2 into that run down into turn 3, down into 4th gear, sweeping it round in 3rd, moving down the little hill, trying not to block up the front tyre as he just comes round those sweeping right-handers, trying to get onto the power as quick as possible down the DRS back straight.
Okay, and he's purple on first sector, Craig. He is purple on first sector here. So let's see what he can try and do as well, Craig.
Yeah, he's just approaching the chicane, looking to brake, opens up the corner a little bit, down into 4th, gets the car swept round to the right hand side, stays in 4th for the better traction, gets out, and he should be coming up to the end of sector 2. Will he be purple? And he is. So a very competitive time of a 50.1 in sector 2, that long sweeping right hander, fully 8th gear round this tricky part of the section, slowly coming down to 4th, up to 5th, gets the traction out the corner, moves the car over to the right, trying to get the perfect entry, watching that race curb on the left hand side, little bit of traffic ahead with Cliffy, doesn't get too distracted, trying to open that left hand. Now this is very challenging, particularly when you don't have ABS, trying not to lock up the tyres, round the little hairpin, out the final corner, open up the DRS, should stay over to the left, to reduce the line to the finish, and he doesn't, but it goes up to a 29.8, and that puts him up into second.
That's a great time there from Nightshades there, especially on that Racing Point car with the Merc power there, and down with that fantastic straight line speed there as well. But let's see what he can try and do in well, that's definitely safe for Q2, I believe anyway. But looking at the times there so far there, Craig, still the 131s is the cut-off point from 131.5 possibly, Craig.
Yeah, we're looking at the McLaren of Cryptox Plus, still in the garage, down in the 14th. He is the slowest driver that's actually set a time as Colin comes round turn 1, replacing Matty for tonight. So Colin hoping to put last night's race behind him in the Formula 3 League and possibly try and get out of Q1. He should have the pace, but it's whether he's got the car underneath him. Oh, he goes slightly wide at just at the entry turn 6, but he gets away without invalidating that lap there, Mark.
Yeah, he's very, very lucky boy there. He's just replaced Matty just for tonight's race here, but I tell you what, he's very, very lucky to keep that lap intact here. But that could be a commentator's curse here, Craig, tonight. We've mentioned it, but if he gets corner cut or invalidate his lap here, but he's purple on second sector as well. So we've under 8 minutes left of Q1 here. Oh, Cliffy's moved up to 129.5, Craig.
Yeah, so as we do see track evolution starting to come into play, the drivers going out, they will have to avoid traffic, but drivers such as Colin, who is on his qualifying lap at the moment, will wait to see what his time is. But the Hailstone, who's yet to set a lap, he's just on his out lap for Alpha Tauri, and the pressure may be mounting, because if he makes a mistake, has he left enough time to get round, put on fresh softs and put in another lap?
It just depends on how he can try and capitalise on the lap there as well. And Colin EY2141 has moved up to 7th place with a 130.418. So that's a good time from him as well. So just watching the Hailstone doing his out lap now. But he is very quick from what I saw back in a pre-season testing of the F4 side. And he was very quick around Silverstone, but can he capitalise on it during the French Grand Prix? We'll have to find out here, Craig, shall we say.
Yeah, Hailstone's been showing some quite blistering pace in pre-season. Moved up from Formula 4 into the Formula 2 League. Moved to the Choose League, and I think he finished round about 12th last night, so not the start to his Formula 2 career as he would hoped, but he's got another chance tonight to possibly put himself into contention as we do ride on board with the Hailstone, running down into turn 1, opening up, getting down, he's staying in 5th, just trying to get that car turned up into turn 2, gets it, oh yeah, he's down on the power, and he's coming down the hill into turn 3, 4, down the hill, the hairpin 5, hopes to stay in 2nd, up to 3rd quick, and into 4th, trying to get the best traction out the corner, wrong that sweeping turn 6 into 7, down the back straight, opens up DRS, stays far right, he's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him, but hopefully it shouldn't disrupt him too much as he approaches the chicane at turns 8 and 9, possibly just get a little bit of dirty air off the McLaren, up into 4th, into 5th, just approaching the end of sector 2, and that McLaren was left, oh sorry, it's a Red Bull, apologies for that, goes purple, sector 2 for the Hailstone, round that long sweeping turn 10, I believe that is, into turn 11, down into 5th, opens it up, over to the left, sweeps it over to the right, up into turn 12, misses the apex slightly, but he doesn't have too much of a problem in the entry into these last few corners. Oh, he's broke really deep in there, missed the apex slightly, hugs the apex at turn 15 perfectly, onto the power, up to 4th, up to 5th, up to 6th, DRS open on the power, and we should see a 130.6, so moves up to 11th, so certainly safe going into Q2 there, Malc.
That's a great time there from Hailstone, but I might have to predict a little bit lesser time, shall we say, of the cut-off point, because looking at those times now, everyone's done the qualifying with under 5 minutes after the Q1 here. With Moreno did a 129.3, that's a guaranteed safety there anyway, regardless. I got a feeling. I reckon 131 flat, I think, or possibly lower than that, probably 130.8 is the cut-off point, I think, anyway. But that's just my predictions, anyway, because you've got quite a few drivers who are trying to do that there, Craig, sorry.
Yeah, just talking about safety there, Malc Sab certainly doesn't feel safe qualifying on the mediums earlier, and he's now had to go back out on track. He's got a 2/10 window from O'Stephen in the sister Mercedes, and definitely did not feel safe, and he's had to use a set of softs to get up into safety.
Yeah, I don't know if he was trying to get his medium tyres just to practice around the track and then do the actual qualifying on the softs, but he has done well, to be fair, in last night's race, I believe. He was battling out so well and going through the grid from last night's race as well, and I tell you what, if he can try and do it under a lot of pressure here, with 3 minutes 30 left here, he'll be absolutely fantastic stuff there as well from that Mercedes crew there. Craig.
Yeah, and Sab has put himself under pressure because this needs to be perfect. He's 7/10 up in his previous time, putting himself a little window between himself and Stephen, but it looks like Stephen's really waiting to the end of the qualifying session, as he's still in the garage at the moment, as the McLaren driver Cryptox Plus is on an outlap. So Cryptox Plus feels that he could have the pace to jump Stephen and possibly Charlie if those times don't improve, as Colin feels safe enough to call it a day and qualify the first qualifying session.
Yeah, I think he's definitely safe there regardless there, but yeah, like I said, we have to wait and see what happens there as well. But it's going to be, I do think it's going to be last minute time, shall we say? But with O'Stephen, Cryptox in the danger zone, shall we say, or in the place where you do not want to be, and at the end of Q1, obviously the top 15 go into Q2, and then Sab's moved up to third.
Yeah, and purple final sector, he had a little bit of a wobble coming out the final corner, but Mercedes power certainly overcame that little mistake, and he's 3/10 off the fastest lap in the first session of qualifying.
Absolutely. Just still watching Cryptox here, Craig. So he's in part of the danger area, shall we say, of the qualifying, shall we say, 131.7. So he needs to try and find another second of that time to try at least be safe, I would think, anyway. But that's just my predictions there. But with 1 minute 35 left of the qualifying here, Moreno is in pole position there in Q1 there. Cliffy in second, Sab in third, Nightshades in fourth, Barca in fifth, Aaron J. Spence in sixth, Jim Laguna is in seventh, Scott Buckner is in eighth, Simon Palmer in ninth, Colin EY is in 10th, Prime is in 11th, Nigel Gash in 12th, Hailstone 13th, Scope 14th, Charlie 15th. In the bottom two is O'Stephen and Cryptox, respectively. Craig.
Yeah, and it doesn't look as if Cryptox is going to make it out of Q1. He's 1/10 down in his sector 2 time. Unless he can pull something out the bag in sector 3, gets the car turned round sweetly at turn 14, round turn 15. Will the power of McLaren get him out of Q1? It does not look likely at the moment, Malc.
No, he's 6/10 off his best time there, so this is going to be one last chance saloon here. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm just riding on board with Stephen as well, Malc, who went for his final chance of getting out of Q1, who has invalidated his qualifying lap. So Stephen definitely in trouble.
I don't know if he's getting enough time to get back into the next race, because the next qualifier, because he's got another car in front of him, the Haas car. Oh, he's just gone off track there. We'll have to wait and see how Stephen. I think. Oh my God.
Yeah, Charlie felt the pressure as well on the time. He was in his out lap. Both drivers desperate to get round and get another lap in, but Stephen is not going to make it. He's run out of time.
Yeah, he tried to get through as quickly as possible to get back there, but he did not have enough time there. So, unfortunately, O'Stephen is out of Q1 here. But will Cryptox get out of Q1 here to get into Q2? But let's see what he can try and do as well. He's coming up to the third sector now. He needs to find more likely it'd be a second here. So this is going to be he's slowing down. So
yeah, Scott. Just to interrupt you there, Mark, but Scott Fielder was in the Williams, and he was hassling the McLaren of Cryptox Plus a little bit, desperate to get by into the garage. So possibly really desperate to get back into a comfort break before Q2.
Absolutely. So Cryptox and O'Stephen are out of Q1 here. So the top 15 of Moreno, Cliffy, Sab, Nightshades, Nitrogash, Barca. Oh, Nitrogash did a good time there, to be fair, 129.8, Barca 29.8 as well. Aaron J. Spence in 7th, Jim Laguna in 8th, Scott Bogner is in 9th, Simon Palmer in 10th, Colin EY2141 is in 11th, Schofield in 12th, Prime 13th, Hailstone 14th, and just at the nick of time for Charlie to finish dead on 131s in 15th place. Craig?
Yeah, it looks as if it's going to be a tough night for Stephen and Cryptox Pluses. They're going to be starting from the back of the grid, but had they watched the Formula 3 race last night, they may take a leaf out of Adrian Lockdock's book, who I believe started in 14th and opted for the hard tyre, took it deep into the race, switched on to the mediums, and came through the grid and secured second.
That's really impressive stuff there, to be fair, and if they can do it, that'll be fantastic stuff. But it's just one of those drivers who could be outside of the top 10 that you did not expect to do, but then they can just shoot off into the top 3 out of nowhere, and it would be a fantastic qualifying. But also, if they can produce the goods in the race as well, that'll be even more better than before here as well, Craig.
Yeah, Stephen will certainly have the pace in the race in the Mercedes car. It's just whether he can clear the field. He should have the grid right in front of him, so he should avoid any carnage going into turn 1 and 2, which we have seen in previous races this week. So if he just plays the long game, keeps his nose clean, he may actually get up to some very strong points tonight.
Absolutely. We've just got the qualifying Q1 classification for the French Grand Prix. So we got in first place, you got Moreno, Cliffy in second, Saab third, Nightshades fourth, Nitrogash fifth, Barca sixth, Aaron J. Spence seventh, Jim Laguna eighth, Scott Bugner in ninth, Simon Palmer 10th, Colin in 11th, Scope in 12th, Prime 13th, Hailstone 14th, Charlie 15th, and Stephen Cryptox unfortunately have been out of Q1 already. So for Q2, just a bit of a recap. If you're new to F1 and you're not sure how it all works, if you are in the top 10 after it finishes in Q2, and whatever tyre that you start on that to qualify, or the fastest lap you get in that qualifying, you will keep those tyres intact. So if you had a medium tyre and you're in the top 10, those medium tyres will start in that race wherever you finish in, or wherever you finish in Q3 on that position there. So, but in Q2, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th will be knocked out in this round here as well. But looking at the cloud again here, Craig, it looks a little bit lighter than ever before.
Yeah, so possibly track conditions will be changing as well. What will be interesting is this session that you've elaborated to, Malc, is the strategy choice. So like you said, the drivers that qualify in the top 10 positions, they will start the race on the tyre that they set the fastest lap on. So drivers such as Volcanos Prime, Nils 9 Barca, Colin and Sab all opting for the medium tyre, and so has Nightshade. So Nightshade just puts on the medium tyre as well just before he comes out onto the track.
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned about the tyre wear strategies, so do you mind if I mention about the tyre strategies to you, Craig, about tonight?
Yeah, so they've got quite a varied selection of tyre strategies. It looks as if the telemetry prefers the two-stop strategy. That is the fastest theoretical strategy, but as we know, track position is key, and we did see that many of the F1 drivers, both on PlayStation and Xbox and PC, opted for the one-stop strategy, going from the softs to the hards.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just one of the ways to get forward there as well. And there's so many other strategies to go for, as well as you mentioned there as well, Craig. Obviously, the best strategy that I've seen on from what I've got with the stats there is the medium hards as well as the soft hards as well. So if you was in Q2 now, Craig, and you was qualifying now, what would you have done in this situation? Would you have gone for the gamble for the mediums, or would you even gambling for the softs?
I think, like many of the drivers at the moment, Malc, I'll be opt for the mediums. It was the strategy that I was going to go for last night, but made a mistake down in turn 6 and span the Red Bull on my medium outlap, and that kind of ended that strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping, like I said, I'm hoping we'll get back to that as well. And for next time when we do the French Grand Prix as well, I'm hoping you'll do a second completion, shall we say. You've done the first completion of it, and now hopefully you get the second completion whenever we do the French Grand Prix as well, with the strategies as well. So at the moment here, I'm just watching Nigel Gash doing his qualifying lap at the moment here in his medium tyre on that Red Bull car. Obviously, he was one of the, well, me and Nitro, unfortunately had the DNF during that the long, just before the long straight of the DRS as well. So let's see what Nigel Gash can do. He's one of those drivers who produce the goods out of a surprise element, shall we say, Craig?
Yeah, he is the first driver on the Q2 as well, so he will be a sighter for times of for drivers still in the pit, the garage, such as Cliffy and Simon Palmer, and he possibly will be giving a little bit of a tow to the Ferrari of Moerno behind.
Well, I'll have to see how it goes from this scenario, but it's very early doors here. But I'm guessing, as a cut-off point, as a guess, we've had the 131 flat as the cut-off point. I reckon between 130 and 130.5. Do you agree with that, Craig, after when we see the times?
I think they actually may be a little bit higher than that. I think we'd maybe be talking, if they're mostly on the medium tyre, that we could be looking at 31 fives to 32 dead for the cut-off point.
Oh, okay. We'll have to wait and see if how the other medium drivers can try and capitalise on it as well. So Nigel Gash did a 132.5, Charlie did a 132.2, Moreno did a 130.7, so he's on top form at the moment here to get that P1 situation here, Craig.
Yeah, and there's not a lot to be left between himself and Mills 9 Barca, 200ths of a second. Mills 9 Barca and the Renault, not in the Ferrari, but the Hailstone and the Alpha Tauri, and the soft tyre goes even quicker, 600ths of a second, but the tyre delta difference between soft and medium is 1.1 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just immense stuff there. But Jim Laguna, fantastic stuff there. So I think that's a guaranteed safety there, I think, already for Jim. But I know it's early doors here, but looking at all the drivers who are all gambling on the medium tyres, and we've got yellow flags on sector 3 at the moment here. I think there's just some drivers just letting each other through and still doing that there as well. But
yeah, there's a little bit of a train developing around sector 3. 4 drivers just looking to get better position. Scott looks as if he's invalidated his lap, just following behind Charlie Harris, who is also on an in-lap as well. So it looks like the drivers are looking to get back into the pits as quick as they can to get a quick turnaround, possibly getting on the soft tyres if they don't feel safe to go into Q3.
Yeah, it doesn't feel safe at all here, but with 9 minutes 10 left of the qualifying here. So at the moment here, Scope, the Drivers' Championship runner-up from last season, is not done a lap yet. Scott Bugner, Cliffy is the one to watch as well. He's one of the faster drivers as well as Scott there. He's not done a lap as well. And Simon Palmer as well, so he's not done a lap just yet there. So the heat is on here at the French Grand Prix, and I'm at the edge of my seat here thinking, who's going to try and survive Q2 here? At the moment here, I know the danger showing is Nigel Gash at the moment with his time, but I do feel sorry for like up to Prime, I think, at the moment here.
Well, I was just watching Cliffy there, Malc. He was just getting a little bit aggressive out the chicane, warming up the mediums, and then taking it very carefully around sector 3, just watching he doesn't take any tyre life. So it looks as if Cliffy could be determined to stay on the medium tyre unless he's at risk, and then he may have to opt for the soft throw down into first, into turn 1, through turn 2, up into 5th, up to 6th, up into 7th. So looking very clean at the moment, getting the car turned in at turns 3 and 4, getting it switched back over to left, enter into 5, running a little bit wide. Oh, and there's a big drift through turn 6 for Cliffy as he went purple sector 1. So it looks as if he's bailed from this. In fact, no, he's not. So Cliffy determined to see this lap out. I thought he may actually have just conceded the lap and just went to the next. But nope, Cliffy's staying on it.
He's doing everything he can here, and he just wants to try and get at least a lap here, just to try and get those tyres warmed up. But obviously, with the medium tyres only lasting about, if I'll just get the stats, so the softs can only last about 8 laps. The mediums can last about 14 laps, and the hards can last about 18 laps. So, based on this scenario here, he's already used 2 laps already. So he doesn't want to waste too much of that medium tyre. So he wants to try and use it as much as possible during the qualifying as well as the race, obviously. But look at this scenario here at the moment here with 6 minutes 50 left here. Scope, Scott and Cliffy and Simon Palmer, still with no time in. Cliffy's just gone back into the pits there, so just watching Simon Palmer there. But who are you watching at the moment there, Craig?
Just right on board with Simon Palmer as he just comes through sector 1, locking up those front tyres that will be taking the life out of them. And we know that the tyre wear is most worse in the front, and Simon Palmer really wanting to put last night's race well behind them, and at least hopefully getting into Q3 and finishing the race.
Yeah, I have to wait and see what he can try and do as well. He's one of those drivers who he feels like...
lit up the rears on the exit of the chicane at turn 9, threw him over the right side of the track, but still goes purple, sector 2.
Yeah, still goes purple on sector 2 there, but we both synced. That's what I love about the commentating stuff, because it's good to see you back on there, just for the one-off here, obviously, Craig, but it'll be good to see you back permanently in the future, hopefully. Cross the fingers there, Craig. Wink, wink, shall we say. Simon Palmer trying to do his last bits of sector 3 here now, and he's coming to the last bit of the corner. He needs to try and get a good exit here as well. I forgot to put the time there, so let's see what he can try to do. Is 128, 130, 130.1, so in the soft tyre, so that's pretty much a good time.
That is a respectable time in Q2, 2:10 of Jim Laguna in the Ferrari as he makes way for traffic coming up behind. Doesn't want to get in the way of cars coming out for the final qualifying session with 5 minutes left in Q2.
Yeah, absolutely. So, looking at the times already here, Craig, and at the moment here, in the danger zone, obviously Scott and Cliffy, but Charlie and Scope, who are in pretty much with the times as well. I think it could be nervous stuff here for those guys here, but it's tough stuff there, Craig.
Yeah, it looks as if Scope was determined to try and have another go on the mediums. But bailed out it. He's going to try and get back into the pit box, put the softs on possibly, and get out of the danger zone. Or will we see a little shift in strategy with Schofielder and accept 12th, get a free tyre choice, and hopefully attack the drivers ahead of them who'll have more worn tyres.
We'll have to wait and see what happens there from there. But well done,
yeah, just going to say that, Malc, after last night's great podium result last night, puts it on first place in the Q2 in a 29.5, so very impressive lap from RNGS. Yeah,
it was like fair play to him on RNG Spencer. He deserves that after he had a struggling, correct me if I'm wrong, Craig, he's had a struggling pre-season this season at Invictus, is that correct?
Yeah, started to reduce the assists. I'm normally using auto gears, turned off those auto gears onto manual gears. Found it a little bit difficult, but it sounds as if he's got himself into a little bit of a rhythm. Podium last night and occupying P1 and Q2.
Yeah, so he's done well there, to be fair, at the moment, but will he try and hold on in Q3? That's the main question there, but he's more than guaranteed to save of the top 10 either way. But at the moment here, Sab, Schofield, Charlie, Scott and Cliffy are all in the danger zones here. with Nitrogas just by, look at this, Craig, by 6,000 of a second there between Nitrogas and Sab there, Craig.
Yeah, Sab's going to have to at least find 3/10 of a second on his final run into turn 1, sweeping into turn 2, 4th, 5th, 6th gear, run down to turn 3, hugs the left before throwing it into the right hander, round the left, trying to hug the apex, try and cut that little corner at turn 5, tries to hug the apex, letting the car run out wide, round that sweeping turn 6, into 7, DRS open, down that back straight, approaching the chicane, just trying to nail your braking point and throwing the car into turn 8 and back into turn 9. Cuts that sweetly a little bit off the apex at 9, and he's just invalidated it on the exit at 9, Malc.
He's got plenty of time. He's got one chance saloon here to try and do his lap here, I think.
He's got 2 minutes to get back round, but the question is, has he got enough fuel?
That is the question there. If he has, fair play to him. If not, that is bad times there for Sabio. But we have to wait and see what happens here as well. Let's see how. Well, at the moment here, Scott has not come out for his out of the pit stop yet, unless I'm mistaken there. He's still in the pits there. So Charlie
Scott does not have enough time to get round Malc, so Scott will finish in 15th.
So unfortunately for Scott there, he's out of the qualifying here. So he's out there, so he will finish in 15th place. So at the moment, we've got 4 places left here to hold on. Who's going to try and hold on to Q2 here, or to get into Q3, but have to wait and see what happens here. At the moment here, Nitrogas, Sab, Scope and Charlie. So Charlie's doing his outlap at the moment here, Craig, but are you enjoying the full qualifying scenario here tonight?
Absolutely, it actually makes it even more unpredictable, and really exciting to see the strategies getting played out. And I think the one driver to watch for in the race is Cliffy, the only driver currently in the top 10 on the medium tyre.
I believe so. Let me just double check. No, actually, Moreno, Barca, Nightshades and Prime have all got medium tyres, as well as Cliffy, but Cliffy is the higher placed medium tyre driver, so he's okay to be safe there. So 131.2 at the moment here is the limiter on there as well. So just watching Sab doing his lap in here. He's invalidated his lap. So Nitrogas and Sab, as well as Scott, are out of the Q2 here. So at the moment here, Scope and Charlie are surely like throwing lots of sweat here to try and get out of Q2 here, Craig.
Yeah, and one driver definitely thrown it about is Nils 9 Barca in the Renault, goes purple sector 2, approaching that long sweeping turn 10. Didn't feel safe down in P8 after being up in second. So he was starting to drop down the order as drivers were opting for the soft tyre, going a little bit quicker than him. And Nils 9 Barca putting on the soft tyre, trying to make it through to Q3.
Yeah, absolutely, and the qualifying has stopped now. The qualifying has stopped for Q2. So wherever they are on track, they will have to finish it off now here. So let's see how Barca can do. Niels Barca can try and do it. He's coming up to the final bit now, and he got pole, Craig.
Yeah, and what a statement going into Q3 to secure the top spot out of qualifying 2. Just looking to see who could possibly challenge him. The Hailstone just coming round turn 11 on the soft tyre, currently in 8th, the position previously held by Nils 9 Barca. Can he get back up to the top 3? Very quick driver, Renault of course, sweeping the car out wide at turn 14, misses the apex at 15. You really want to just kiss that, trying to get the best exit possible at the final chicane, final corner, and it's only good enough for 7th there, Malc.
Absolutely. Manic stuff there, but Scott's already out here as well, and he's doing his lap in here already. I thought he was still in the pits, so I do apologise if I got that wrong there, and he's just moved to 4th. So I thought Scott was out of the qualifying and is now confirmed to stay in, so I do apologise for that technical issue there. So that's my fault on that one.
Yeah, I think we were getting a little bit of misinformation from the telemetry, as on 1 minute 40 remaining in the session it was showing that he was in the garage, so a bit of an issue with the telemetry. but Scott gets himself up to 4th and into Q3.
Absolutely, but it did say on the telemetry, it said he was still in the pits after 1 minute 30, I think it was, or 1 minute 40. So that's why I wasn't sure if he was out there as well. So unfortunately, Cliff is just holding on for 130.5 in the mediums there. So Moreno, Charlie, Scope, Nitrogas and Sab are all out of the Q2. Craig.
Yeah, and it looks as if my statement earlier on that Cliffy was the only person on mediums was true. I was maybe just a wee bit premature with that. But it looks as if he's going to be the only driver starting in the top 10 on the mediums.
Absolutely, so he's done a brilliant job there from that point of view there as well. So Niels Barser, brilliant job from him in pole in Q2 there. Andrew Spencer in second, Jim in third, Scott in fourth, Prime in fifth, Nightshades in sixth, Colin EY in seventh, Simon Palmer in eighth, Hailstone ninth and Cliffy in 10th. All guaranteed to be in the Q3 scenario here. So looking at those driving scenarios there, Craig, and from what you saw so far, what's your top 3 predictions from that top 10?
I certainly think you've got to look at Nils, 9, Barca and Aaron. I think they're definitely in the discussion. Cliffy qualifying in the top 10 on the mediums. Once he goes on the soft, then certainly he should win by a shout. I am going to predict that Aaron is going to get pole.
Ooh, I have to wait and see if that's going to happen there. But he's done well, to be fair, at the moment. But anything can happen in Q3. Anything can happen with anything scenarios here as well. So we're just about to start Q3 here. If you like what you've seen so far, guys, please make sure you like, subscribe to the Invictus Racing League channel for all the live races here on the Thursday nights. Well, also we mention more on during after the qualifying scenarios of all the social medias on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, and follow there as well. So we come up to Q3 now to do their soft tyre scenarios to try and get pole position here. So I know you're saying Andrew Spencer to try and get into, but I think he did well to get there. But what pole time do you reckon will happen in this scenario, Craig?
Just taking into consideration track evolution, that everybody is on the soft tyre. I think we're going to be looking at low 28s. I'll be surprised if we see anybody going into the 27s. So I think the pole time will probably be about a 23, 28-2.
22. That is a possibility, but it all depends on how they can try and capitalise it on track and try and get there. Well, they only got 12 minutes. They only got like 12 minutes left of the qualifying of Q3 as well. So if you
Nightshade's not hanging about, he's straight out behind Jim Laguna. So Jim Laguna will be the first hopefully valid qualifying lap time in the final qualifying session before we get the French Grand Prix underway.
Have to wait and see what happens here from this scenario here as well. So let's see how Jim Laguna can do on his lap here. And he's been racing quite a long time, hasn't he, Jim? To be fair, he's done well on a few seasons, and then he lost a bit of pace. And now I feel like he's getting back to his old routine, shall we say, back to the old rhythm.
Yeah, Jim's been out maybe a season and a half, and looking at his Formula 3 performances, he's certainly got back into challenging ways, and I think he's actually thriving in the Performance League. Strong pre-season, and he's in the Ferrari tonight, so certainly a shout for at least a podium if he can qualify well and keep out of trouble.
Have to wait and see how he can try and get a perfect lap here. If he does, that'll be a magnificent achievement for him as well. So he's going to do his qualifying lap now of the Q3 scenario here. So he's coming down the straight here into the first corner here. So as you said earlier on, Craig, you need to make sure you get that turning perfectly there. If you don't get it doing perfect, you will lose out massively there. And it looks like he's done all right, to be fair, in the first part of the Sector 1. He's still on track at the moment here. Coming up to the end of the first sector now. a 22.6, a 22.6. So that's a good time so far at the moment here. But he's coming up to the DRS straight now, and he's trying to get pushing that car to the limit here.
Realistically, with that sector 1 time, you really want to be going half a second faster. You want to be setting a low 22s in sector 1 to hope for a low 28. But like most banker laps, you really just want to get a competitive time on the board, and it won't be until he's maybe second or third run that he will be really pushing the limits of the track and the car.
Absolutely, you have to wait and see how he can try and be alright there, to be fair. If he needs to try and push on there as well. He's in the third sector now, and he's going to try and get through. I feel like third sector is more the trickier part than the first two. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, you really need a very good front end that really wants to go as soon as you apply the wheel direction. Having any understeer in your car is just going to kill your times. And as we see, Jim Laguna setting a 1:30.1, but Nils Barsha just destroys that with a 29.3, so very impressive from the Renault driver.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic time there as well. So 29.3, 7 cents better off than Nightshades there. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here. So Prime did a 1:30.6, Hailstone did a 1:31.5. Yellow flags in sector 1 and 2. That's one of the, I believe that's the Racing Point driver. And Aaron J. Spence, who you predicted to get Q3, 1:29.6, 3/10 off Barca there.
Yeah, he's actually down on his second qualifying session time as well. So Aaron maybe just been a little bit cautious putting that banker lap in, as I said earlier. And I'm sure we'll see that lap time come down as he sets another one later in the session. Let's see if he can try and improve that. Well, he needs to try and improve as quickly as possible there as well. And if you just joined, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all. We're at the Q3 of the full qualifying scenario here. If you're enjoying it so far, please make sure you subscribe to the Invictus Racing League channel for all the live races here as well. And we're just about to finish off here with 6 minutes 50 left of Q3 before we do the 50% race at the French Grand Prix here tonight. And I tell you what, it's not done any damage limitation, so to say, Craig. Yeah, but I think most drivers in the first race of the season will possibly try to get as many points as they can. So will we see them go hell for leather? Will we see them be a little bit more cautious? Who knows? But we do have 3 drivers yet to set a lap time, and one of them being Cliffy just goes onto the track now.
Yeah, so let's see. He's got the pace to do it, Cliffy. I know he's in the Alfa Romeo, who's like a little bit down with the performance side stuff of the cars, but for Cliffy, he should. I know he's invalidated his outlap at the moment, but with this, I think he should be aiming for like top 5 here.
Yeah, I was looking at Cliffy's qualifying 2 time, and he was 9/10 down on the fastest of the session. With a tyre delta of 1.1 between mediums and softs, it's very possible that Cliffy could start on the front or the second row of the grid for the restart.
Could be, but it just depends on how he can try and get a good lap around here as well. So he's the only one on track here at the moment here, and with the time set with Barca with a 1:29.3, Aaron G. Spence with a 1:29.6, Nightshades with a 1:30 flat there, Jim Laguna 1:30.1, Colin with a 1:30.2, Volcano's Prime with a 1:30.6, and the Hailstone with a 1:31.5 with 5 minutes left. I will read the comments later on, guys, so if you are, I will mention a few bits of there as well, so we're not ignoring them, we just try and watch the qualifying at the end of the race there as well. So Craig, what do you think Cliffy would do in this qualifying lap?
I think it's full on attack for Cliffy. Attacks turn 1 and 2 perfectly. Just gets the car turned in very sweetly as he runs down into turn 3, turn 4, and I believe he actually set a world record in France as well. So we do know that he's got form round the Like, oh, lights up the rear tyres, can he save it? So keeps it out the wall, but can he get round into the pits, fresh softs on, and back on track to set another lap? So, oh yeah, and those tyres are absolutely boiling. And Cliffy just trying to get the car turned around. He's going to have to take it very gently while the temperature reduces in those rear tyres.
Absolutely, exactly.
So very unfortunate for Cliffy there.
Very unfortunate for him there, to be fair. I'm hoping he'll try and get back into the pits as quickly as possible, and that's what he's trying to do, speeding with that Alfa Romeo car as well. And the other driver of Jim Laguna with 130.1 is doing his lap in here now, so he needs to try and find.
I'm just watching Jim through turn one there, Malc. A little bit apprehensive, just trying to avoid invalidating it at the start of the lap. Just taking it quite gently through these sectors. He doesn't want to light up the rears like we saw with Cliffy, and gets out of sector 1 onto the DRS, down that run into turn 8. You can just sit back, have a little look about in the cockpit where you prepare the car for the big green zone, and 8, and then 9, try and kiss the apex, gets the car turned round, a little cut on the exit, and try and line the car straight up for that entry into turn 10. Absolutely fantastic part of the track. It's great to actually go round the outside of someone there. We actually saw Reshka and Delange do that in Formula 3 last night, so great race there, and I'm hoping that we have some more of the same tonight. So Jim just came up to the end of his lap. It's turn 12 in sector 3, round turn 13, the right hander, still allowing the car to come round to the right again, opening up turn 14, getting down into 4th, cut the apex into 15, a little bit too much off the apex there, compromises his exit down that main straight, cross to the right hand side, and goes up into 3rd with a 29.8.
29.8 there from Jim Laguna, so well done to him on that. So that's still a good time there as well. So let's go to Scott Buckner now to see what time he's invalidated his lap there. So he's going to try and get back. I don't know whether he will be able to do another lap. Don't get me wrong, he will be able to do another lap here. I was checking the double chime there as well. So who are you watching so far, Craig?
I'm just watching Aaron at the moment, but I'm wondering if Aaron might be a little bit shrewd. He's got Nils 9 Barca behind, who I'm sure is quite comfortable being there, because he'll get the toe down the straight. Okay, he might pick up a little bit of dirty air, but these cars are designed to actually follow more effectively this season. But Aaron won't want to be doing Nils 9 Barca too many favours.
No, absolutely not. But from that scenario there, it's Aaron just needs to try and get he's just let Barca through.
Nils 9 Barca just get fed up waiting behind Aaron, and wants to get on with it.
Absolutely, and we're coming up to the 1 minute marker here on Q3 of the full qualifying at the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League here at the moment here. Aaron J. Spence needs to find 3/10 or better off to try and beat Barca here. He's got a Ferrari behind that of Jim Laguna as well, so let's see what happens here. Are you going to watch Aaron J. Spence or Barca?
I think we're going to have to watch Barca as the driver sitting on provisional pole, exits turn 15 very nicely, gets on the power, DRS open, overtake button engaged, over to the right hand side of the track, down into 5th gear, trying to reduce the slip into turn 2, stays in 5th, up into 6th, down into 7th, hugging the left side, down into the hill, into 3, into 4, trying to sweep the car round to the left hand side, cuts turn 5 perfectly, round 6, watching the car doesn't get too unsettled on the corner, into 7, down the main straight, keeping the car on the right side, trying to ensure that you don't take any pace out of the car too much, into braking, opens up on the left, he's got traffic ahead there of Simon Palmer, and it looked as if it was a little bit distracting from Nils 9 Barca, who was very apprehensive attacking that corner, so that may have compromised Nils 9 Barca's qualifying lap.
That might be, but Nightshades moves up to second place with 129.383. Scott has retired in the Q3 here. So just still watching Barca now to do his final bits of the lap there. So he passes turn 12 into turn 13 there.
Yeah, just round that right hand side, sweeping into 14, and we'll soon get an idea of what his lap was or whether it got too distracted when Simon Palmer will run down towards turn 8. And we will see a 20. No, it did not improve, so he lost 1/10 of a second. But what is Aaron doing? He's coming across the line, goes second, 700ths of a second. So it looks as if Nils 9 Barca just got a little unsettled with that Red Bull not clearing the chicane yet, but still holds on to pole position.
Oh!
And Cliffy jumps up, takes pole with a 29.1 and will be starting the race on the medium tyre.
What a way to end the Q3 scenario here. Well done to Cliffy there. What a lap there. Brilliant stuff. And to get that perfection of the medium tyre as well. Absolute pure genius there from Cliffy.
Yeah, that is a perfect example of just how to do it, Malc.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're just going to do the last classification of the Q3 of the French Grand Prix for the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League, for round 1 there. So Cliffy in pole position will start in first, Barca in second, Aaron J. Spence in third, Nine Shades is in fourth, Hailstone is in fifth, Jim Laguna is in sixth, Prime is in seventh, Colin EY is in eighth, Scott in ninth, and Simon Palmer will finish in 10th place as well. So, just going to
I think I was very optimistic of my qualifying prediction lap of a 28.3.
Have you got rockets?
Yeah, some very surprising lap times there. Absolutely impressive from the Alfa Romeo driver of Cliffy. Just bagging that pole position right at the end. But yeah, I think being away from the Performance League for a while is maybe left me a little bit too optimistic with the lap times.
Don't worry, mate. I'll let you off this time, but you will borrow some rockets fuel to try and get that 28s or maybe even 27s as we predicted earlier on. So don't worry, Craig. I'll let you off with that. Just do the usual advertisements, guys, and then we'll talk about the race itself in a minute. This is the Invictus Racing League live exclusive on the YouTube channel with myself, Malc. I'm normally with Tim, but unfortunately he cannot make it tonight. So I've got the legendary Craig with me in the commentators box just for the one-off for you guys, just for the one-off for round 1 of the Performance League. Not only we're on Thursday nights, guys, but we're also on Monday nights for the F1 League with Gareth and Sab. They do a brilliant job in the commentators box as well, and that's the fastest league. It feels like the Premier League, the top flight division of that league as well. So the fastest drivers ever. And you've got F2 in Tuesday nights as well, so make sure you tune in on that as well. Also with F3 and F4 on the Wednesday nights as well, so make sure you tune in on that on the YouTube channel. Not only we're on the PS4 side, we've also got the Xbox side on the Sundays and also on Tuesday nights as well. But I believe that is on Twitch. Is that correct, Craig?
Yes, that's right. Our Xbox League are broadcast on Twitch, and then the videos are uploaded onto YouTube so that more of our members can access them.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Craig. And also we've got, for a brand new time for this season, is the PC League on the Wednesday nights as well. So that is so much action-packed at the Invictus Racing League as well, and it's just absolutely immense stuff as well. But not only, as I said earlier, we're not only on YouTube here, we've also got Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. So make sure you like, follow and subscribe as well, and also on Twitch for the Xbox League side if you want to follow there as well. If you want to join in the leagues, why don't you do that then? Go to the invictusracingleague.com. Make sure you register yourself on there, and once you've done that, click on the apply to race form, and one of the admins will get in contact with you as soon as possible once you've filled that form out. And what you do, if you are in a comfortable position there, you will be in one of the testing races there to see if you are joining in the leagues, and if you are successful you might be joining the league, as possibility is next week or two. We'll have to wait and see. But they're going to start the formation lap here, guys, for the French Grand Prix. So I'm just going to read a bit of the comments here, guys. Good evening to everyone that's joined, and hello to everyone here. Hello to Baz Cabs, how you doing? Joe Bailey, how you doing? Mike, how you doing? Stephen, he's just absolutely fuming off that Q1 scenario there when he lost out by 5/10 there. Good evening to Botcom Gaming as well. But yeah, there's so many people there to join in, and in the comments box as well. So if you're watching the stream, guys, what do you think is going to happen here? What do you think is your top 3 predictions here for tonight's race, for the 50% race? As you can see on screen there, we've got the pit stop strategy there for the soft hards is what predicted for, medium hards there for Cliffy there as well. So I reckon he will do medium hards to last the one stop. But it all depends on how he can try and stop Barca, Andrew Spence, Nightshades and Hailstone, and all the others who are in the soft tyres in the top 10 as well. But looking at those tyre wears, Craig, from 11th downwards, majority of the drivers have all had the medium tyres except for Stephen in hards, but also Samu, who's just joined in late during the qualifying, so he could not do the qualifying, so you have to start right at the back.
Yeah, I think that's probably the sensible way to go from 11th downwards. Stephen probably did watch F3 and Adriel Lockdock's strategy last night, opting for hards then on to mediums. And he'll certainly be on the quicker tyre when most other drivers are on the hards. But Cliffy's got to be very careful at the race start. He is on the slower tyre. He'll probably get off the line a little bit slower than those 9 Barca and Aaron who are on the softs. He will really need to hope for a lightning start off the line.
He'll have to get that rocket fuel, as we said earlier on, Craig, for that one scenario. But he'll need to try and defend a hell of a might there against, as I said, with the guys who are in the soft tyres as well. But they're all coming up to the grid here. And would you like to do the honours, Craig, of starting up on the racing grid?
Yes. So Cliffy takes his position on the front row of the grid on the left hand side, with Nils 9 Barca on the softs on the cleaner side of the track, where actually the racing line is. So we are waiting for all drivers to form up on the grid, and we will wait for the race to get underway. We are ready to go. It is 3, 4, 5 red lights. We are go, and it looks as if it was a slow jump off the line from Jim Nils 9 Barca. Goes up the outside, and he will go into turn 1 first. Those soft tyres working very well as Nightshades tucks in behind Cliffy, and Colin goes wide. Sorry, apologies, that was Aaron going off track slightly behind the fellow Racing Point driver. Nightshades and Nils 9 Barca takes us through turns 4 and 5. Cliffy just tucking in behind and should get the tow down towards turn 8.
Yeah, hopefully he'll try and hold on here, Cliffy. He needs to try and push on as quickly as possible here to avoid that. And there's a bit of one of the few drivers there. It looks like Scott Bungner's trying to move up there as well. But looking at there as well, Moreno has moved up to 10th place as well. We've got 2 wide there. We could have another 2 wide there from Scott Bugner. Oh, a little bit of contact there between himself and Jim the Goon there for 8th and 9th. And looks like Colin is struggling at the moment. So Scott could try and go around the outside, try and get into the inside there.
Yeah, Colin just lit up the rears on the exit of turn 9. Something that he really suffered from last night. Scott and Colin going wheel to wheel round that long sweeping turn 10. What a move from Scott. Had the inside line, just pushed Colin out into the dirty part of the track a little bit, as the Ferraris behind are also fighting. Jim the Gooner ahead on the soft tyre, Moerno behind on the medium.
Yeah, he's trying to push on here as well.
Moerno goes into the back of Jim the Gooner. Not sure if he's got front wing damage, but just underestimated the braking of the Ferrari head, and that allows Schofield and the Williams to have a drag race down into turn 1.
We've got 2 wide here. Coming up to the first corner here. They have to try and hold on here for dear life here. Who's going to try and manage it here? And it looks like
Charlie Harris and Schofield going side by side into turn 1. There was a slight tap. Schofield spins, and I think there was another driver involved in that as well, but certainly contact between Charlie Harris and Schofield into turn 1.
Yeah, so Schofield had a bit of contact there, as you rightly said there, Craig. So unfortunately, I think he had a bit of wing damage as well, because I just saw a bit of debris there as well. And it looks like Sab's under a lot of pressure against Cryptox here for 12th place here, but also try and get back into the top 2 here, because Cliffy, who lost out the first position here, going up to 3 tenths behind Barca here.
Yeah, you'll certainly have better tyre condition compared to Nails Nine Barca, probably around 13-14% tyre wear, whereas Cliffy will be sitting on 5 or 6, so certainly got the better grip, as we've had 2 retirements in the race already, Samuel Papito and Simon Palmer. So we're down to 16 runners on lap 2.
Oh yeah, so Samu, who joined in late, unfortunately cannot finish the race, unfortunately, so he'll try and bounce back next week in round 2 of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League as well. Yellow flag set to 3, that is a O'Stephen in 16th place, Craig.
Yeah, O'Stephen really struggling on those tyres, the strategy isn't working for him, and Sab also coming into the pits, possibly wing damage because he's on the medium tyre. Definitely not the lap you'd be pitting to get onto the different strategy. So possibly an issue with his fellow Mercedes driver.
Possibility, but I'm hoping he'll try and bounce back here, Sam. But still watching this battle here. We've got about 4-car battle here, Craig, for the lead here.
Yeah, that actually suits Cliffy sitting in behind Nils Nine Barca. He doesn't need to tow anyone else, and he does get DRS, so it's a drag race down into turn 8, and RNG is trying to get into the mix here, but we do have Cliffy, Nightshades and Nils Nine Barca fighting out for the top 3 positions through the chicane at turns 8 and 9.
Yeah, absolutely. That was immense stuff there from Nightshades there. He thought he was going to try and go 3 wide there at one point there, but still, fair play to Nightshades as well. And look at it, Nightshades are going to try and have a gamble at Cliffy here for first.
Yeah, Nightshades might just tuck in behind Cliffy. They should get the better exit out of turn 15 being on the soft tyre. But Nils Nine Barca doesn't want to fall too far behind Cliffy as well, as there's a little gap starting to form between Nightshades and Cliffy, as the soft tyres are starting to go towards hitting the cliff.
Yeah, obviously the softs can only last up to 8 laps, but it just depends on how much they have used in the qualifying. I reckon be about lap 5 possibly, lap 4, 5 possibly is the pit stop if they're going to do the 1 stop or possibly the 2 stop.
Yeah, if you're a little bit conservative on your out and in lap on the soft tyre, you can stretch them to lap 7 or 8, which is the ideal crossover point to the hards. Otherwise you're going to have a lot of tyre there at the end of the race in hards and have nothing left to fight with. So Cliffy's certainly in the prime position at the moment on the medium tyre, leading the race and opening up an 8-10th gap over Nightshades.
Absolutely, and also we've got another battle behind there of Prime, Hailstone and Scott here for 5th, 6th and 7th, and also Jim Laguna slowly creeping in with these 3-car battle here for 5th place here. So battles are all over the place here tonight. So we've got the top 4 and then also between 5th and 7th place, and also Moreno in 9th, Colin and Charlie in 9th, 10th and 11th place, as well as Krypton and Nightcash.
So the interruption here, Malc at the Hailstone looking to go round the outside at Volcano's Prime in turn 10 and gets the move done. Scott just tucks in behind Volcano's Prime, goes up the inside at turn 11. So very opportunistic from Scott. We do know he loves a little dive up the inside now and again. So Volcano's Prime losing out in 2 positions. He looks to be struggling on those soft tyres.
He's also might lose another position here against Jim Laguna. Nightshades pits. So Nightshades pits here, Craig.
Yeah, Nightshades possibly looking for the undercut of Nils Nine Barca, and Alan just trying to open a little bit of a window. But Jim Laguna and Moerno plus Volcano's Prime drag race right down to turn 1, and Fries go wheel to wheel through turn 1, and Jim Laguna a little bit of a squeeze on Moerno going into turn 1 and comes out ahead.
Yeah, there was a bit of contact there between Moreno and Prime there as well. As well. So let's see what happens here. Charlie's trying to close in on Prime here for 8th place here, but still it looks like Scott's going to try and close in on Hailstone here for 4th place here.
Yeah, and it looks as if Charlie Harris has got the run on Volcano's Prime, but to go back to Moerno, he has got front end plate damage as well, so that may be the reason why Moerno's a little bit off the pace at the moment.
Yeah, so it might have been from that earlier contact there between the two Ferraris. And look at behind there, it looks like the Haas and Prime are battling out to for 8th and 9th as well here. So there's so many battles galore here, Craig. You just don't know which one to pick at the moment.
Yeah, and Aaron's got the move done in Nils 9 Barca just before turn 10. So Aaron moves up to second, the gap opening up to 1.6 between himself and Cliffy, who's leading this race.
Yeah, so Cliffy doing a brilliant job as always there, but some of the drivers are already in the pits already to try and stop the undercut here between himself and...
Oh, and huge mistake by Aaron and Nils 9 Barca, both drivers receiving 5-second penalty going into the pit lane.
Oh, gutted, absolutely gutted. They did not want that at all, so if they do pit again, they'll have to serve it in the pits there as well. But just try and see who's going to try and bailing out here as well. Just going to go back to Jim Laguna here, try and close in on Hailstone here for 3rd place here. He's doing all right at the moment here, but Scott's moved up to 2nd place after a few of the drivers going to the pits there as well. Craig?
Yeah, Scott just keeping out of trouble, letting the drivers ahead fight it out, and he's avoided all that drama. Moves up to 2nd, he's Jim Laguna under DRS. Oh, goes past the Hailstone and looking to try and chase down Scott Buckner.
Yeah, so he's trying to push on with that Ferrari as much as possible here, and then come up to the third, the end of the 2nd sector, into the 3rd now, the trickiest sector of them all in the French Grand Prix as well. If you just joined, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all, and you're watching from lap 6 of 27 here of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League, with myself, Malc, and Craig for the one-off commentary. Tim will be back next week as normal. So Moreno's got 3-second time penalty, Craig.
Yeah, Nightshades just after his pit stop onto the hard tyre, all over the back of O'Stephen, down for the fight for 11th and 12th. So Nightshade's desperate to get past O'Stephen as quick as possible. If not, it's going to kill his strategy. O'Stephen just rides the curb at turn 12, that is, and unsettled the Mercedes car a little bit, so that allows Nightshade to just tuck in behind the gearbox. And it's all about who gets the better exit. DRS will be afforded to Nightshades and should get the move done before turn 1.
Yeah, too wide here. We've got too wide here coming up to turn 1 here, and he should be ahead of O'Stephen here. But I was speaking to O'Stephen yesterday here, Craig, and he doesn't feel comfortable with the car itself, not the Mercedes car, but just driving in this game properly around here. I think he's struggling with pace. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, just looking at how he's really fighting that Mercedes. It's almost snaking left and right as if he's getting no rear grip. So, yeah, I think it's very clear that he's really struggling with the Mercedes car at the moment. Yeah,
so at the moment Aaron J. too wide here, coming up to the end of the DRS straight here, and will Aaron J. survive here? He has done. Brilliant move here from him. Fantastic move there.
He had the inside line there, Malc, so he could control the entry into turn 8. I don't think Stephen was really going to fight him too hard, and Aaron will be relieved to still stay on the back end of Nightshades, with Aaron probably going for the 2-stop strategy again tonight. It served them well last night, and probably hoping that it's going to pay on the same favour tonight.
Absolutely. Scott Bugner and Jim Laguna are in the pits now, for which could be their hard tyre scenario here, but let's see what happens here at this moment in time here. So we come up to battle between Nightshades and Aaron J. Spence for 9th and 10th place respectively here. So Scott has gone for the hards, Jim has gone for the medium tyres here.
Yeah, I didn't expect any different from Scott Bugner. He actually did the 2-stop strategy on Monday's F1 race, and he said he was kicking himself after it because it just did not work in the race, so certainly opting to put the 1-stop strategy into full effect tonight.
Absolutely, and it looks like he's trying to close in on Nils Barca here for 11th place here with that fresh hard tyres here as well.
Yeah, if he was any closer, Malc would be able to give him a high five. right on the gearbox of that Renault, just coming round, tucking in behind. There will be a little bit of a DRS train, as 9 Barca should pick up the DRS off Alpha Tauri.
Absolutely. Andrew Spencer's just gone past Nightshades for 7th place there, but I'll give you a high five later on there, Craig, with the Iron Bruise later. Don't you worry, sunshine, that'll be it. So we're still on lap 8 of 27 of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League, with Cliffy starting from the mediums there in first, Moreno in second, Charlie Harris is in third, Nigel Gash is in fourth, Cryptox is in fifth, Schofield is in sixth, Andrew Spencer 7th, Nightshades in 8th, O'Stephen in 9th, Volcanoes Prime in 10th, Niles Barca 11th, Scott in 12th, Jim in 13th, Hailstone 14th, Colin in 15th, and Sab in 16th place. With Samu and Simon both had the DNFs earlier on in the race. Craig?
Yeah, it was essential for Aaron to get past Nightshades to make that strategy work. But Nightshades will be getting dragged along with the racing point ahead, and they will be getting DRS off him, and they'll be certainly use that to defend against the drivers behind. So O'Stephen a little bit off the racing point ahead, they got 3.1 seconds, but as the drivers start to come in to put on a fresh set of boots, then we will see Aaron dropping back down the field again, probably opting for the soft tyre in that final run.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you now, Craig, we've got 5 car battle here for 8th place here, Craig, from O'Stephen to Jim here in 12th place there. So let's see how they can try and balance that. If Prime, will he have the moment here to try and get past O'Stephen here in the DRS straight? And he does. Perfect move there. Brilliant stuff there from Prime.
Nels 9 Barca saw a little gap on the inside there, and just stuck his nose in there, see if Stephen would give way. And Stephen didn't fight him too hard, but Scott going up the inside for turn 10 on O'Stephen. So O'Stephen on those hard tyres just going backwards at the moment.
Absolutely. I don't know what's happened to him, but I'm hoping he'll bounce back as quickly as possible here, Craig.
Yeah, Scott Bugner just trying to tuck on the Renault and just make his way through the grid. Volcanoes Prime certainly dragging the Renault and the Haas, and I think it's only a matter of time before Volcanoes loses another 2 positions. Yeah,
it was a bit. Let's see how Volcanoes trying to hold on here for dear life. He doesn't want to do what O'Stephen did earlier on by losing. It felt like a domino effect here, and Barca moves up to 8th, Craig.
Yeah, Nels 9 Barca gets him moved on with DRS into turn 1. Scott will be hoping to leapfrog Volcanoes Prime on the second DRS zone on the run down towards turn 8. Well, doesn't want to lose the gap between himself and Nels 9 Barca too much if he's hoping to move up the grid order. Absolutely,
but they've both got the DRS in a minute here, Prime and Scott here, but if they can try and get closer to Barca, that'll be fantastic stuff there. But I think Barca's already defending here. And both drivers are trying on the racing line. Oh, Barca went back onto the racing line there, just at the nick of time there.
And he's certainly entitled to do so. If the line is clear, he's entitled to come back over to the racing line after defending it. But I was very surprised not to see Volcanoes move across to the left and just get in the slipstream to defend off the Haas of Scott Bugner.
I was very surprised with that, to be fair, but it just depends on what other options he would have had as well to try and defend. But he was just probably trying to concentrate ahead of him, Craig, to be fair.
Yeah, possibly just trying to keep the car in a straight line, just trying to get the ERS and the DRS down, but any other options to get a little bit more pace should certainly be considered. And a little lock up by Scott as he breaks on that entry into turn 15, loses a little bit of time to Volcanoes Prime, who has the DRS but can't make any roads towards the Renault. But there's a car coming out and it's Cliffy, so Cliffy gets ahead of Nils 9 Barca, and Cliffy will be going to the end of the race, where it looks like Nils 9 Barca may have to make another pit stop.
Yeah, so fair play to Cliffy, and well done to the Alfa Romeo team as well, just at the nick of time there as well. And look at this now, Craig, we might have a battle for Prime and Scott again for 8th and 9th, but Barca must have missed out massively there. But Prime's got a 3-second time penalty, Craig.
Yeah, as well as Scott's looking forward, he will have to keep an eye on his wing mirror as well, because Jim Laguna on the medium is only 6/10 of a second behind. So Jim Laguna looking to possibly put a little bit of pressure on Scott Buckner.
Yeah, he will do in a moment or two. I'm guesstimate possibly at the end of the lap here, as long as he can keep his car perfectly on track there as well. But at the moment here, we're not even hitting the halfway mark, and it's just been an excellent race so far, hasn't it, Craig?
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure there's going to be a few more twists and turns before we see the checkered flag on lap 27.
Absolutely, but like I said, we've 17 laps to go here. Well, now 16 laps to go of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. Charlie is in first place at the moment here. Nitrogas is in second there. So let's just see if there's any other battles galore here at this moment in time. Maya, Colin, O'Stephen and Hailstone battle in a moment or two. But still, I want to get back to this battle here between Cliffy, Barca and Prime here. But Cliffy's done a brilliant job here at the moment here, Craig.
Yeah, absolutely. It was vital for him to get out ahead of Nils 9 Barca. He will be looking to close the gap to Nightshades ahead, who's on a similar strategy. But Colin and the other Renault looking to close down O'Stephen. Just coming up to the end of sector 1, Colin on the mediums with O'Stephen on the hards. But the Renault driver Colin will certainly have DRS looking to get the move done up into the points as we are on lap 12.
Yeah, so Colin's just made the move on O'Stephen there on the DRS straight, and he's just made the move perfectly there. Fantastic stuff there. So now Colin will try and push on to Jim Laguna, who's trying to close in on Scott Butler for 8th and 9th there as well. So still so many battles galore here. You got Cliffy, Barca and Prime for 5th, 6th and 7th. Scott and Jim, we're watching live exclusive on the channel here for 8th and 9th. And also Colin, O'Stephen and Hailstone for 10th, 11th and 12th place. Craig, who are you watching so far?
I'm just right on board with Jim as we see the race leader Charlie Harris and Nitrogas coming into the pits. But I was also keeping an eye on the delta between Aaron, JS and Nightshades. And Aaron isn't really opening up the gap as he would like. If he's going to have to make this two-stop strategy, but the gap currently sitting around 1.82 seconds, so Aaron's going to have to get that opened up a little bit more if he's hoping to go onto the quicker tyre, the soft tyre, to catch Nightshades later on in the race.
Yeah, I think normally the pit stop is about 20 to 25 seconds roughly. Mainly 25 is the max normally in the pit stops, unless you're at Silverstone, which is like the longest one ever. With 30 seconds over there. But with this, you're rightly there, Craig, because I can't see how RJ Spencer can try and push on there. But with the medium, as I said, the medium tyres earlier on, they can only last about 14 laps fresh. So, and he's already at the halfway marker and being used on there as well. So it's going to be tough for Aaron, to be fair, Craig.
Yeah, even with a 1.7 second advantage, once he goes on to the softs, it's going to be hard work for Aaron to claw back that time and possibly get a move done on his fellow Racing Point driver.
Absolutely. Just wait and see. We're still watching the battle between Scott and Jim at the moment, and also Moreno, Hailstone and O'Stephen battling out for 9th, 10th and 11th place as well. And we're coming up to now, should be the halfway marker now. So we're at the halfway marker with Andrew Spencer and Nightshades. The two Racing Boy drivers in the top two there, with Cliffy on the more fresher, shall we say, better tyre wear than Nightshades and Aaron Spence on the lifespans of the hards. Craig.
Yeah, and what's absolutely vital, Malc, is that Cliffy's actually able to maintain a little bit of a gap during the DRS zone. But Nils 9 Barca a little bit closer this time. The gap's 7/10 of a second, but possibly still too far back to make a move into turn 8, as Cliffy probably saving ERS and rich fuel as we go down the DRS. Although Nils 9 Barca does close down the gap, he's not really close enough to affect a move.
Absolutely not.
So Cliffy really managing this race well.
He is doing really well here, but obviously, here's a question for you actually, Craig. With Nightshade doing 9 laps already on the hard tyres, so the hard tyres can only last about 18 laps, I believe, unless I'm mistaken. Let me just double check again with the telemetry.
No, I think you're right there, Mark. I believe they are around 18 laps of good tyre wear.
So, the reason why I'm asking this, do you think Nightshade will go all the way to the end, or will that be a bit too risky for his sake in here, just to stop Cliffy?
I think if he actually attempts any other strategy, because he is locked into the hard tyre, it may actually be counterproductive. So I think he's got no choice now, is to stay on the hard tyres for the other 12 laps.
Do you think he'll do it?
I don't think it's going to be easy. I mean, he's going to have Cliffy breathing down his neck and 6 lap longer tyres. But if he can look after his tyres and maybe pick up DRS once Cliffy gets by, just to tow him around the lap a few times, and even possibly off Nils 9 Barca as well, there's every chance of it that he may secure a podium finish.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done a brilliant job here, whatever happens here tonight. But let's just have a quick glance at the biggest movers of the race here. So, Stephen, the biggest mover with 6 positions there. Barca going to try and make the move here on Cliffy there. Nearly thought he was going to try and make the move here on Cliffy, but it looked like it from the camera view that I saw, but did not work out there. Pommy.
Yeah, this is the crossover period now where the mediums are starting to die a little bit, and 4-lap old hards are certainly going to be in better condition for Cliffy. So Nils 9 Barca possibly going to have to do something a little bit special here to get the move done on Cliffy as he just cuts the corner. I think we may see possibly a lack of concentration there from Nils 9 Barca. He's trying to make his way round the circuit to get into the pit lane, but Nils 9 Barca picks up a 10-second penalty. So massive penalty there for maybe a small lapse in concentration.
Yeah, I think that would be damage limitations as what I would class it as that point there, but unfortunate for Nils Barca, who's driven a good race either way, and he was doing well in the qualifying, but in here I think he was losing a little bit of concentration, hit a few of the the braking boards as well, so it's damage limitations for him, 10 seconds, he can't get away from that as well. So as I was saying about the biggest movers of the race here, Cryptox, so Stephen with biggest mover in 7 positions there, Cryptox with 6 positions there as well, and a few with 4 positions moved up with Scott, Moreno, and there was another one as well, but it missed off there, changed just the last minute there. But at the moment here, that's the biggest moves there, and I'll just have a quick glance at the fastest lap. So the fastest lap at the moment is Sab with 132.9, but like I said, he's in 16th place. Craig.
Yeah, and after being up in P2, Nitrodash finds himself after his pit down in 11th, gets a move done on McLaren of Cryptox, plus the gap 3.7 to Charlie Harris ahead, but RNJS still leading this race over Nightshades and the fellow Racing Point with Cliffy 2.1 seconds behind, and if I'm honest, sitting very pretty.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well here, but it looks like Nightshades is going to close in on the mean tyres, as you were saying earlier on, Craig. The mean tyres should be going now, pretty much, from this point of view as well, but still early doors here, and it looks like unless I'm mistaken here, Craig, it looks like it's a little bit cloudier, just a little bit cloudier at the French Grand Prix.
Yeah, a little bit cloudy. Will we see rain nearing the end of the race? But with the ambient temperature reducing, so does the track, and that's when the harder tyre compound comes into its own. So the harder tyre compound might actually be the better race tyre at this stage in the race. Absolutely,
it looks like I can see Stephen struggling still in 9th place here with 16 laps already, with Charlie trying to make the move here on 10th, and Jim the Gunner's moved to 5th place, passing Scott finally in that move there, and looks like Charlie's going to try to move there with the DRS straight, and he made the move excellent there. Brilliant stuff there from Charlie there, moves up to 9th place. Craig.
Yeah, I think Jim the Gunner had put it up to a mode 11, just went nail for leather. Don't think Scott had much left to defend with, and Jim the Gunner in the Ferrari just sailed past the Haas driver and moves himself up to 5th position.
Absolutely, but he will have to pit anyway for the next pit stop anyway, regardless. But that the most talking point here, Craig, is will Nightshades hold on for dear life with the Hearts against Cliffy? That's
well,
the
he's
biggest
in a
point.
good position at the moment, Malc, with the medium tyres starting to go off. That's allowing Nightshades to get back into DRS activation. The gap 0.8 of a second, and he could possibly use that to open up the gap to Cliffy. Behind the gap now, 2.5, and Nightshades will be hoping that Jim the Gunner can close down the gap a little bit to Cliffy and put a little bit of pressure on him.
Absolutely, and see how the pressure will build up from Aaron here as well, and hopefully Cliffy can try and close the gap on the two Racing Point drivers here. But Nightshades slowly creeping into Aaron J. Spencer in first place here as well. So while these two cars battling out here, we've got Charlie and O'Stephen battling out for 8th and 9th, and also Cryptox for 11th and Scope in 12th battles there. So are you still watching the top two here, Craig, or are you watching some other driver?
I'll tell you what I'm watching right now, Malc. I am watching those clouds in the distance, and they're getting a little bit darker. So with 9 laps left to go, will we see a bit of rain at the end of the French Grand Prix?
For the hard tyres, it will be perfect because obviously they can manage it perfectly there, but it's getting darker, and I'm a bit worried here for the drivers here because we've not been told by the weather crew or anything like that to see if it is going to be raining at all. So I think if we do get rain, I'd like to see it at the last bit of the race. Do you agree?
I like rain anytime, Malc.
Fair enough.
But I think the ones that it'll be preferable to are the drivers that are currently on the medium tyre coming at the end of their run. So that'll certainly play into the medium drivers' hands, particularly Aaron and Jim the Gunner, because they've put themselves up into favourable positions on the grid. And if we go to lap 27 dry, they will lose those positions to the hard runners. So I think drivers such as Jim and Aaron will be praying for rain, maybe doing a little bit of a rain dance, as Nightshades starting to have a little run on Aaron down into turn 8. Can he get alongside into turn 8? Oh, he's up a little bit, but decides to back out it. He knows he's got the better pace at the moment, that Aaron JS is coming to the end of his tyre life, and Nightshades gets a better exit. He's alongside on the run down towards turn 10 and should get the move done up the inside. So Nightshades takes the lead of the race.
At the moment here by a 10th there, and he's done a brilliant move there, but will Andrew Spence try and get back into it? I know this tyre wear is not great at the moment here, but in that situation there, the rain needs to start just to help those medium tyres to try and get back into it as well. Nitro Gas has moved up to 9th, O'Stephen drops down to 10th place. No, O'Stephen moves up to 9th. Is that Aaron J. Aaron J. Spence gone into the pits there?
Malc, I thought I saw a little bit of rain just shoot down on top of the Alfa Romeo and Cliffy. So with 7 laps left to go,
yes, it is.
We have got rain. We have got rain. So Aaron will be absolutely kicking himself that he's pitted and he's went on to the soft tyre. So he will be absolutely kicking himself. I do think though we are maybe 2 laps away from transitioning onto the intermediate. So if Nightshades manages to hold on, he may hold on to the race lead.
He may, but look at Cliffy now. He's by a second now, and I don't know what's going to happen here. But there's so
drivers will just be waiting from race control to hear that the DRS has been deactivated, and that is usually the indication of when to come into the pits for the intermediate tyres. So it's all to play for, Malc.
Absolutely. I'm just going to look at the grid there. Looks like O'Stephen's might to lose out here for 9th place here against Cryptox Prime and also Scope here. Oh, what's going to happen here? Will Cryptos hold on against? We've got 3 wide. Oh, Prime just made the move into 10th place there, just by the nick of time. A bit of contact there, but just at the nick of time into 10th place there, and try and close in on O'Stephen there for 9th place. Will he make the move for the hat trick here? No, he doesn't. I thought he was going to try and make the move just before turn 10 there, Craig.
Oh, Volcano's Prime almost goes into the back of the Mercedes. Has to brake hard. That allows Schofield to come back into play. But Volcano's Prime holds it round outside, trying to go up the inside of O'Stephen as they bang wheels, but has to back out it again, and Schofield just goes round the outside and moves up to 10th place.
Absolutely, but Jim is gambling on the intermediates, Craig. He's gambling on the intermediates.
I think that may be a little bit early. We haven't seen DRS deactivated, but O'Stephen has got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars behind him. The first being Schofield, trying to get that final move with DRS up into turn 1 on the medium tyre, goes right up the inside, moves up into P8. Volcano's Prime I'm going wheel to wheel with RJ Spence. RJ trying to go down inside on Volcano's Prime, just makes contact with the rear tyre of the Racing Point, coming under another bit of pressure from the McLaren.
Oh, brilliant move there from RJ Spence there against O'Stephen there. Brilliant stuff there. But as I said earlier, O'Stephen's tyre wear is completely gone here. And now Prime will try and make the move here onto 2 wide here. They're going 2 wide here. Oh, like I said, RJ Spence trying to make the move on Scope. And he does make the move.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Mal, but Scott Wagner was trying to go up the inside on Moerno at turn 10. I just gave him a little bit of a tap on the rear wheel, and it looks as Scott is really struggling for grip as the temperatures are actually coming down, so the tyres will actually drop out the operating window, and it looks as if Jim the Gooner's struggling a little bit on those inters, so the track maybe not ready for the wet tyre yet.
You are absolutely right here. I think it might be a few more laps here, and then we'll probably hit in. We got yellow flag set to 3.
Yeah. Looks as if it was the hailstone has actually had an off, so possibly tyre temperatures and those hards dropping off and just losing grip. So at this point the track is like a skating rink. You really just have to manage the grip as much as you can. It takes us back to Singapore last year, where the downpour was just like nothing I've ever seen before, and being stuck on the dry tyre, trying to get back in the pits, it was like dancing on ice. It was just terrible. Honestly, it was absolutely shocking.
Oh my
days. This is what the drivers will be experiencing at the moment, with the hard tyres coming to the end of their tyre life, but also tyre temperatures coming down as well.
Absolutely, and walking, dancing on ice as well. Unbelievable stuff, Craig. And can you imagine if you were racing now in this? Would you be comfortable now at this?
I would have put it in the wall by now.
Oh no! Don't do that! No.
Well, actually, leading up to the Formula 3 race yesterday, I was actually praying for rain, because the wet weather setup that I had was actually 0.02 of a second slower than Foxy Reds on time trials, so I felt very favourable with wet weather conditions, but it wasn't to be.
Absolutely. Oh, Night Chaser's going to the pits now, and there's some of the drivers have gone for the intermediate tyres already, so I reckon probably about lap 24, possibly lap 24, 25, I reckon the intermediates will kick in, because Jim the Gooner's closing in. Well, he was closing in on Colin J by 0.2 there, but it just depends on who's going to. So Night Chaser's gamble for the intermediates as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Scott and Charlie and all the others guys.
Scott and Charlie have come in also, so is Aaron, Nitro, Scope, Triptox and Volcano's Prime. So Jim the Gooner maybe have played a blinder and should get the jump on a lot of these drivers, so I'll be interested to see how many positions he actually gains, and it may put him back up to 3rd or 4th. So I think Jim has played an absolute blinder here and moves up to 5th, but more importantly there will be temperature in those intermediates, whereas Scott and Nightshades will be trying to get those tyres up to racing temperature.
Absolutely, and they'll be on, well, it's just a little bit of damage limitations there, but we've got yellow flags on sector 2 and 3, so that might be...
That is Cliffy. Cliffy has had an issue, and that has given Moerno the race lead, but the gap between Moerno and Nightshades is only 25 seconds, so Nightshades may inherit the lead after Cliffy's mistake.
So Cliffy gutted there, because Cliffy was doing a brilliant race either way, whatever happens here tonight. But now Moreno, who's we've got a bit of a Moreno fans in the chat here as well, so they was gambling for him to do well here tonight in the French Grand Prix as well, so he should be gambling on the intermediate tyres here. So he's just did the jump.
I think Mark, they've gambled for one lap too long, and they've ended up just coming up with snake eyes, as Nightshades should move up to first place, but also Scott and Jim could possibly secure the other two podiums positions.
There could be, but it just depends on where Moreno and Cliffy are on track on the pits there. Will they try and make the move on Scott here? So
Scott's coming down the main straight. Oh, and yeah.
Barca lost it at turn 10. Turn 11.
The biggest loser for that, Malc, was Jim the Gooner, who had to lift off, and that allowed time to Moerno and Cliffy to come out in third and second. So once the pack gets released, it's going to be a sprint race to the end of lap 27.
Unbelievable scenes here, guys. If you're just joining us, where the hell have you been? You've missed a classic race here tonight at the French Grand Prix for the first round of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. And like I said, this is the first safety car of the brand new season as well. So, as you rightly said, Craig, it's all going to be a sprint to the finish here to try and finish off here. And I'm hoping all the cars will try and build them up before it'll probably be one lap. I reckon one lap finish.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question, Mark. How long are we going to be under safety car conditions? And how many laps will we have left?
I think we'll probably I think by lap 26 they've got to go. So the safety car's got to go, and they will do one lap. So one lap shootout, pretty much. So you feel like you got your one-shot qualifying scenario in this race scenario here. And if you don't make it perfect here, in this wet conditions here for the intermediates, this is absolutely immense stuff here. And well done.
And what else is an interesting factor as well, Malc, is that 4 of the top 3 drivers are no assists drivers.
That is unbelievable.
Moerno is the only driver that uses assists, so will that give him an advantage over Nightshade's Scott Bugden and Cliffy, who are all on no traction control and no ABS?
Fair play to the guys here. They're doing a brilliant job, especially on no assist as well. It's very tough. I know it feels easier in this game, but if you've not done no assists before, and you've done it for years, fair play to you. You've done a brilliant job, whatever happens here tonight. And but yeah, just seeing what happens here from the safety car scenario. But I think it's going to be a tough call here on here.
Just talking about the safety car, Mark, Foxy Red feels that the safety car will come in at the end of lap 25.
At the end of lap 25?
I think it may be more towards the end of lap 26, so we should get 2 laps at full race pace, and it's going to be a 2-lap shootout, I believe.
2-lap shootout here, and I'm at the edge of my seat here, Craig, because I just don't know what's going to happen.
Please get your comments in, guys. Who do you think is going to take the race win? Will it be Nightshades? Will it be Scott Bugner? Will it be Moerno? Will it be Cliffy? Or will it be Jim Laguna or other?
I don't know, but the safety car is in the slap. But unfortunately for Scott Bugner, he's got a drive-through penalty for driving through speed through the safety car period there as well. So bad news for Scott.
Disaster there for Scott Bugner, and Foxy Red's prediction of lap 25 is absolutely spot on. So yeah,
like I said, we've try everything we can to predict what's going to happen here, because normally the safety car waits for all the cars to bunch up and then go for it, but because that's probably near the end of the scenario here. Let's have a look at Nightshades now. He's come up to, so he's technically the new safety car leader here, but it looks like he's trying to push on here now. but here we go. We'll try and see for lap 25.
Yeah, Nightshades will be wanting to get this race as quick as possible because he's aware that the rest of the pack is closing down quickly. So Scott Bugner trying to hold on to the rear of Nightshades, getting a little bit of a slipstream. Moerno looks as if he's lost out a little bit. Should close it down with braking into turn 1 as Nightshades takes his round. Turn 2, leading this race at lap 26 of 27 at the French Grand Prix at La Castellane.
Absolutely, and Moreno's got another 3-second time penalty for multiples. I think he's got quite a few 3-second time penalties, so that may compromise his finishing position, depending on penalties of all drivers here tonight. But looking at this now here, Craig, penultimate lap. Scott Butler's trying to defend here against Moreno here for third place here, and Cliffy trying to close in here, but Moreno's trying to close in on Scott here. He's going to try and go too wide here, and Moreno's trying to make the move here as well.
Yeah, Scott was just trying to block off the inside there, but Moreno got the better exit out of turn 7 and moves up to second. So this is all going to come down to the final lap, who's penalty free and also who can keep it on track and get the checkered flag at the end. Oh, big slide there from Moerno as the rear of the car just struggling with the wet weather conditions, but manages to keep it on track and pointing in the right direction.
Absolutely, but he's doing really well here, Moreno, but like I said, the penalties will be affected afterwards. Yellow flag set to 3. That is Colin. Colin on the penultimate lap has lost it after turn 10 into turn 11 there, Craig.
Yeah, well, it's very unlikely we'll get a safety car and may get a VSC, a virtual safety car, but the marshals will be trying to clear that Renault from the track as the drivers start the final lap of the French Grand Prix. Nightshades holding on to a 9/10 gap. DRS deactivated, of course, because of the wet weather conditions. So Nightshades will be hoping just to keep the car on the track and keep that Ferrari behind them.
Absolutely, and they're trying everything they can here on the final lap of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League here. Will Nightshades hold on for dear life here to support that Racing Point car, who's done a magnificent job here at the French Grand Prix here. So still magnificent stuff here. And I tell you what, Craig, have you enjoyed it so far?
Absolutely, and Nightshade's done the most important thing, keep Moerno behind him. At this part of the track, it was probably Moerno's best chance to effect an overtake on the Racing Point ahead, because coming through sector 3 is a little bit more technical and certainly more challenging to get an overtake done, particularly in these conditions.
Absolutely, and here we go, we come up to the third sector now. Nightshades holding on by 1.1 seconds here. Will he try and win the French Grand Prix for the first round of the Performance League? I'm sure he will, depending on penalties there, but I feel sorry for Cliffy here, Craig. Do you agree with that? And
yeah, Cliffy, I think, just took a little bit more of a gamble. Possibly went one lap too long, but Nightshades played a blinder. Did the perfect strategy and should cross the line in P1, but as we've said, Malc, it may come down to penalties. So Nightshades does take the race win, followed by Cliffy, who takes second. Moerno with penalties dropping down the grid order. Scopefielder moves up to third, followed by Charlie Harris. Aaron does enough to get fifth, but Moerno losing out on penalties drops to sixth, dropping him out a podium position with Nitrogas in 7th, Jim Laguna in 8th, the Hailstone in 9th, Scott Bugner 22nd penalty, drops to 10th, Sab on 11th, Cryptox Plus, who had actually came out of the first qualifying session, finished the race in 13th, I believe. I
believe it was 12th, Craig.
It was 12th, it was 12th.
Yeah. No, it's all right, Craig. It's all right, Craig. Well done to Nightshades on the first win of the brand new season of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. Well done to him. He did a blind of a job there to win and he's absolutely delighted there with his trophy there for round 1 of it as well. And well done also to Scope, also nicking it into the podium there as well. The Drivers' Championship runner-up from last season as well. So he's going to try and keep that consistency going to try and get back to winning ways to try and get back into the momentum there of the podium there in for the Drivers' Championship battle here as well.
Yeah, so we'll hopefully catch the drivers onto the podium interviews. So we'll be looking to invite Nightshades, Cliffy, and the third place driver was Malc?
Scope.
Scope, sorry.
So we'll just go to the usual race classification, guys, and we'll do the interviews. Here are your race classification for the French Grand Prix for the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. You've got Nightshades in first, Cliffy in second, Scope third, Charlie in fourth, Aaron J. Spence fifth, Moreno sixth, Nightigash seventh, Jim Laguna 8th, Hailstone 9th, Scott in 10th, Sab 11th, Cryptox 12th, Prime 13th, O'Stephen 14th, Colin in 15th, Barca, Samu and Simon have all had the DNFs with Colin as well, but there'll be a few drivers who will have a DSQ after 15 seconds over with penalties so for the guys who are over 15 seconds of penalties, they'll move up a position depending on where they are on track as well. So we're just going to wait for the guys to get themselves ready to load up into the commentators box. So let's just try and do that there. So while we're waiting for that, if you enjoyed the race and you want to contribute there, why don't you like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel and watch all the other races there. We've got the highlights coming up soon of all the leagues there from F1, F2, F3, F4 and also the performance as well, if you want to highlight all that scenarios there as well. So we're just waiting for, we've got Nightshades in there, we're just waiting for Cliffy and Scope to join in the party, but we'll mention to do the usual chat stuff there as well. Just waiting for the guys to load up there. So while we're doing that, what did you think of the race, guys? Have you enjoyed it? What do you think of the race? So just have to wait and see what happens there as well. So we're just waiting for, unless Cliffy is in there. Is Cliffy in here? I believe not. Just waiting for Cliffy to join in. But for the guys who are just joining in, can you please make sure allow voice to be shared is set to always allow. If you're not sure how to do it, go to the party settings, and there's an option called allow voice to be shared. Make sure it's set to always allow. So while the guys are slowly creeping in to get themselves set to make sure their voice is set, we'll talk to Nightshades, of the winner of round one. Hopefully Cliffy will join in and talk about his thoughts of second place. And also Scope, the Drivers' Championship run-up from last season, started off with a podium finish after penalties as well, so to hear what their thoughts are as well. Nightshades and Scope, are you all set, ready to go?
Yeah, we are, yeah. Yep.
Cool. Just clarifying, is Cliffy still in? No? Cliffy's still in?
Yeah.
Not yet. Okay.
I think Cliffy said in the chat he's not joining, so...
Is he not joining? Okay. If he's not, we'll just do the first and third quickly as well. So Nightshades, how you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. How are you?
Absolutely buzzing, mate. Absolutely buzzing. Myself, Craig, doing the commentary and watching the Performance League as well, and it's good to see you winning the first round of the French Grand Prix. So how did that feel?
Well, it was a sweaty one. Especially when it comes to the rain as well, when the safety car at the end sort of made the first win a bit tense, but got through in the end, so it's all good.
Did you played your cards right there, to be fair, with the strategy coming in when the rain kicked in? Did you felt like it was different? Would you have had a different scenario? Would you have gone a little bit earlier or a little bit later, depending on where you were on track?
Yeah, I think if I would have gone in earlier, I think it would have ruined my race. I think it was Cliffy who was out in front with me, so I think I was just trying to stay with him, but once I see the watermarks coming off the tyres, I knew that it was time to pit, so I think I pitted a lap before him. I think it worked out in my favour in the end, so I don't know what would have happened if I pitted any earlier.
Yeah, because it looked like with the tyre wear scenario, especially with the safety car right at the end, did you felt like nervous right at the end as well?
I thought I was going to bottle it, to be honest, especially with the gap that I had. As soon as my teammate pitted, I had about 7-8 second lead. So I was pretty confident towards the end, but then as soon as the safety car come out, I thought it would have took us to the end, but he only lasted maybe the 1 or the 2 laps, not even that. So a bit tense, but I managed to get away from Scott, and then then I had the Ferrari coming on me, but luckily I got there just in time.
Brilliant stuff, Nightshades. You did a brilliant job and played your cards right as always. Well done for the win tonight in round 1. Obviously, we're going to have to start right at the back in round 2 of the Austrian Grand Prix. So, Craig, have you got any words for Nightshades?
Just on your stint when you were behind Aaron, what was your thoughts when you actually saw the time gap between yourself and Cliffy decreasing?
Well, at first I didn't realise Aaron went on the mediums, so I felt like I held him up maybe 1 or 2 laps, which I probably would have let him past, knowing that he was on a different strategy to myself. But as soon, probably about 15, 16 laps in, I saw the time gap come down to Aaron, and I knew that the mediums weren't really going to last. Seeing the gap sort of motivated me just to keep my pace, keep cool, just keep doing what I was doing until I caught up with them.
And starting at the back on Austria, what car do you think, or what car are you hoping for? In fact, sorry, you win the racing point. How will you approach that race, and have you have any thoughts of what strategy that you may use starting from the back to try and maximise the amount of points needed to secure a championship?
Well, I feel like I'll see what the pace is like in qualifying, especially when we get to Q2. That will be the tyre choice. So, but see what everyone goes for, see what kind of stints they're going for, whether they're going to go on the mediums or not. But I like to try and stay out of trouble at the start.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Nightshades, but you're actually straight into the race, so there will be no qualifying, so no indication of what other strategies are being. So how do you approach starting at the back
well, my initial
on a totally unknown?
My initial plan was out the window now, so I guess I'm just going to have to keep the pace strong from the back, just hope to get out first lap pretty clean, and then just go from there, just slowly eat away at my competitors. But everyone's very fast in this league, so it's not going to be easy, and I wish everyone a good race next week.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Craig. Well done to Nightshades again for winning the French Grand Prix as well. You can stay if you want, Nightshades, or you can shoot off. It's up to you. But thank you very much for joining in the commentators box, Nightshades.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Nice one. Obviously, Cliffy cannot make the interviews, but I'm sure he'll be delighted with the podium, Craig, but also a bit annoyed that he should have won it at the same time. Do you agree?
I think he'll be a bit ambivalent. I think, yeah, it's a good start to the race, securing a podium, but possibly feeling that race win has just slipped out his fingers.
Absolutely, but don't get me wrong, Cliffy is quick and he can produce the goods on the day of the race, so I'd like to see what he would do in the Austrian Grand Prix with Nightshades at the back of the grid as well next week for round 2 as well. So well done to Cliffy for finishing second. I'm sure he'll be obviously delighted with the podium as well. Scope, how you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
How does it feel to be in the podium here after the penalties?
Yeah, it's quite surprising. So really happy with getting a podium in the Williams, because yeah, that car wasn't fast and I wasn't particularly fast either. So yeah, it's a surprise, but yeah, I'm happy with my performance in the end. So. The reason
why you mentioned about surprise is like you would expect it to be top 8, top 7, would you say, in the race with the Williams car? Or would you expect?
I would probably be happy with finishing in the top 10. You know, my pace, I don't think there was maybe 1 or 2 drivers that were slower than me, but you know, I had a good strategy, and then also the safety car obviously came out at a great time for me. But you know, you always know that can happen, so I tried to stick within the track limits, and I don't think I had a single warning that race. So. Absolutely,
you did brilliant job, but do you know how much time you had to sneak into the top 3? You was about 200s, I think it was 200ths of a second in front of Charlie for 3rd place. So I bet you was the pouring sweat is completely gone now to finish in the podium there. But it's a good start for the Drivers' Championship running up from last season. Do you agree, Scope?
Yeah. I saw after the safety car come out, I think I had Aaron in front of me.
Yeah.
And checked my engineer, and he didn't have a penalty at the time. Also checked backwards, and Cryptox, he didn't have a penalty, so I thought there was like barely any penalties in front of me. So, but then like towards the last 2 laps, I knew Charlie could have a penalty, and he was like 3.7 seconds ahead of me going into the last lap. So yeah, I had a crazy push that last lap to catch those 7/10 just in case Charlie had a penalty. Apparently he had, and I think Aaron also got one in the end.
Fair enough, mate. And he played it well. The safety car come out, and you did it well, to be fair. And well done for yourself, Scope, because I really do hope you had a good start after what happened last season. After what happened last season as well. You need to have a good start, and to get a podium here tonight after penalties was immense stuff. So well done for you tonight on the podium. Craig, have you got any questions for Scope?
Just one. Last night we saw you taking pole in the PC League and finishing second behind Sky Z, and we've also saw you coming through the grid to secure third, and you'll be starting third last next week in Austria. Is this a season where we see you return to championship winning ways?
I hope so. At least I'm aiming for the PC Championship. I think I got a good shot there. Obviously it will be a tough battle, especially with SkyC. But hopefully I can get at least a driver's title, and then you never know with the Performance League. There's a lot of good drivers here, so. But it's a great start, especially considering I was in the weaker machinery today, so.
Thank you.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you, Craig. Scope, congratulations on finishing third place tonight in the French Grand Prix. I'm sure. I wish you all the very best luck. Same with Nightshades and same with Cliffy for their top 3 finishes. So you can stay if you want, Scope, or you can shoot off. It's up to you. But thank you very much for joining tonight. Well done to the guys for the top 3. Thank you to everyone that was watching the stream. One more question for yourself, Craig. What's your final thoughts before we stop the stream?
Certainly looking forward to how next week is going to be, where we saw the top 3 drivers going to be starting at the back of the grid in the same cars. So I think we'll see some more overtaking. Austria, a little bit more of a challenging track. Maybe a little bit more wheel buying just because of the nature of it being a tight circuit. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing how this new format of the Performance League is going to play out over 12 races.
Okay, yeah, I think you might see some shocks, as we have saw in the from the pre-season races as well, where the drivers that we know of that would do well in the qualifying, the short qualifying, they struggled in the full qualifying, so depending on the car scenarios as well. So it's brought us a lot of shocks and as well as excitement as well, and I can't wait for it. And I'm sure Tim will be delighted to do that as well during the season as well, and give him a bit more of an update next week as well. Craig, thank you very much for joining me tonight, and thank you for the last minute joining of the commentary box. I'm sure. Are you okay? One question for you: are you going to come out of retirement to do the actual commentary stuff now?
No.
No. Oh, I tried, guys. I tried to bring Craig back.
I'm happy to fill in. I'm just too busy.
Oh.
But looking forward to the return of Tim next week, and watching you guys in action again. So thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. Great race to come back to. Hopefully, guys, like, subscribe, join us next week as we start round 2 at the Red Bull Ring in Austria.
Thank you very much, Craig, as always. For the final time, guys, can you please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for all the live races here as well. And this was the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League for round 1 at the French Grand Prix. I was your host, Malc, with my commentator, Craig, for the one-off stuff as well. But again, thank you very much, guys. And we're about to stop the stream. I'll see you all next week. Well, Tim will be back next week. I'll see you all next week at the glorious Gush Race of the Red Bull Ring. See you later, guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.